Greetings, dear humans. Please allow me to introduce myself briefly. My name is Count of Saint Germain. I am delighted and honored to be speaking to you again through this special medium. It's been a while since I last took you on a meditative journey into transformative energies, and I'm delighted that so many of you joined me on this adventure. I am truly delighted. However, the reason I am addressing you today is to convey a message in a lively and vivid way. Firstly, I would like to share a few words about the present time, which is very important to me. On the other hand, I am also visiting some of you who have asked for answers and guidance on personal matters. I can assure you that I have received all of the questions you have sent out into the cosmos. Some of you have been called to work with me today because you are stuck in dead ends. However, I would like to refer you urgently to the words spoken by Quetzalcoatl so that you can recognize the patterns appearing around you and understand that it is necessary to resolve those current personal matters once and for all. For I tell you, we are in a year that, numerologically, also signals conclusions. Therefore, every force around you is being mobilized to guide you in exactly that direction. You must urgently cleanse or discard all those things that no longer serve you and burden your current timeline, rather than help it. These old patterns, topics or stories that keep coming to your attention can now be resolved, both inside and outside. If you find healing, the world will too, because everything is connected. Everything, simply everything. Although you accept these words as a reminder of the bigger picture, it is often difficult for you to decipher the larger connections in your human incarnation. I say decipher intentionally because many codes in numerology are hidden for you. This means you can read many things that are coming your way, as well as things you should transform. Change is our next key word because it is precisely this energy that drew you to me today. It is your transformation and that of the world around you. Yes, I remind you again that everything is interconnected. Since the world is in a constant state of flux, you are personally experiencing one transformation after another, leaving old issues behind as you embrace new paths with open arms and joy. It is a great joy for me personally to be able to guide you onto new path today, reveal new perspectives to you, and show you new ways of looking at things. This is the path you chose. You chose to free your mind once and for all and escape the constant cycle of density. You long to see all the paradises unfold around you once more, because you wish to turn your back on the perpetual theatricality of density and illusion. These spectacles have accompanied you for long enough in all your incarnations. Enough is enough, you might say. I tell you, the times are good for you because your determination to see the positive in everything is drawing these things into your focus. Many forces are at work around and for you. Your path still leads through dark realms and rocky areas, and you will have adventures that will take you to your limits and beyond. You can grow and flourish like flowers until you are able to fully blossom in paradise. You still have a strenuous path ahead of you. It is of great concern to us as beings from other spheres to actively support you, accompany you, and give you strength on your journey through dense and lower realms. You can explore how transformative forces are now at work within you as well as around you, since everything is connected. Further, urgent messages on the ascension process from our dear messenger Bella Isis will help you to understand this. I tell you, the earth is shaking and the energies are trembling with concentrated tension. Everything is in turmoil. New things are emerging, while old things are passing away. You have been brought here today because you keep coming back to all sorts of topics. It doesn't matter whether the issues are related to your career, personal life, or family. They all deserve to be revolved. Some struggle in their love lives and are confronted with the same issues time and time again. Others have family situations that seem so complex that there seems to be no way out. But I tell you, you can do it if you can recognize the patterns. Some of you search but cannot find. Others, in turn, have been drawn to me because they are seeking support in their personal development and want to continue their spiritual journey. I tell you, you are all welcome here because I have been waiting for you. It is no coincidence that amethysts have recently become more present in this channel, as they work with purple energy to create balance and harmony. Each color has different aspects and characteristics, and if you listen to the cosmic messenger regularly, you will realize that between her words there are many secrets and memories that may remind you of higher dimensions. Bella Isis is a Pleiadian and sees the world differently to ordinary people. She perceives things from a cosmic perspective and can show you how to reactivate these superpowers within yourself. Allow me to speak briefly about Bella Isis so that you can understand the message I wish to convey to you today regarding colors, color rays, and pulsating color particles. Bella Isis has just connected with the dragons and requested an upgrade to her perception of color spectra in heightened consciousness. I am permitted to share the dragon's response with you, dear listeners. A vivid adventure awaits in the second manual for lightworkers written by Bella Isis Mitchell. The dragons talk about cosmic color spectra and how to learn to read, see, and feel colors. Bella Isis is already working on the second manual, and the dragons have just agreed to help with the special chapter on colors and how to learn to see them. We will also explore why colors are becoming increasingly important in the universe, most likely in connection with the magical chapter in the living manual. But now, we return from one enchanted chapter to the next. The contributions on the Messenger's channel are just as vividly felt on your body as the books of the Pleiadian authors on earth, to immerse you immediately and directly in all these wonders. I announce my presence in your home. If you pay attention, you may already sense a change in the energy field around you. Please take a moment to allow yourself to perceive my presence. You are welcome to lie down if you wish, but please do not fall asleep. It would be a great pity if you were unable to actively experience your insights because your mind wandered off on other journeys and my message could not interact with you directly in the present moment. I now ask you to find a comfortable place where I can work with you. Once you have done so, you will slowly feel a very strong force field around you. As I said before, colors are very powerful if you can understand their messages and energies. Today, I am working with the purple ray of transformation to support you in your own transformation. You will feel a pulsation in your third eye and pressure inside your head as I stimulate your pineal gland to help it translate the messages I transmit to you more effectively. I invite you to join me in contemplation. You will be able to feel my touch as I lead you through a guided meditation. You will not be able to hear any words from Bella Isis. It is I who will speak to you and guide you through the meditation. The purple ray of transformation will surround you so that you can more clearly and actively recognize the things that repeatedly prevent you from moving forward and the situations that urgently need to be released. The messenger will now play music for us for a while. When the last note has faded away, I will return to my dimension. I have come to help you gain insight into your maturation process and present it to you from a different perspective. If you wish to try out new perspectives and a different approach to your situations, I would like to invite you to join me on my journey. Take my hand. You will soon feel it in yours. I am with you, beautiful soul. I am in your home and have come to guide you into new worlds, for your being is transforming. Saint Germain.